dear friends. My name is Alex Mazes, and today I'll be sharing what it is to do mindful movement. So mindful movement is one of the four formal meditations that we do in mindfulness interventions. And during this time we tune into the body, and it's about really tuning into the body and focusing on the sensations in the body to become aware of what's really happening at the moment. And so while we're moving around, all we're doing is really paying attention to not so much the movement, but more what maybe that particular stretch feels like in the body. Maybe where do you feel that stretch? These are some of the things that you need to keep in mind when you're practicing mindful movement. And again, I'm going to share with you some exercises for mindful movement, but you may be able to apply this to any exercise that you might do. So tuning into the body is really important, and it allows you to know where your limits are. So if you're into performance and you're into sports or any other kind of physical performance, this will be a great tool to have, because it allows you to know when the body is at that limit in which maybe it's time for you to back up a little bit and just kind of give yourself that restful day so you can start tomorrow. Or maybe you're at that sweet point in which you can go a little farther and maybe push in a little more. But the only way to really figure that out is by you really tuning into what the body feels. So these are some basic exercises that I'll be sharing with you on mindful movement that will allow you to tune into the body and learn to really be in full connection to what really happens every time you're moving. So again, if you're into sports, if you're into physical activity, or you're just like every one of us, which from time to time we're always kind of working out or moving around, whatever it is that you're doing, this is a great way to be present as well and to bring your attention to the moment. So mindful movement is one of those 4 meditations. So there's mindful movement, there is mindful walking, there is sitting meditation and lying down meditation. So we're covering mindful movement right now. And it's really important when you're practicing this to really keep in mind that right effort. So right effort or balanced effort is knowing really when you're doing too much or when you're doing too little. Noticing the stories in the mind. Sometimes when we're injured, sometimes we have this way of thinking that, well, I'm injured, I can't do anything, I can't move. And we stop exercising, we stop moving. But the body feels good moving, and we don't have to move maybe the same way that we moved before we were injured, but maybe we can find that sweet spot again and allow the body to just express itself that way as well. So tuning into physical sensations and really saying as much as you can to whatever you feel in the body. You'll notice the mind wander, you kind of just come back to the sensation again. And you notice the mind kind of trying to rush through the movement, doing it faster, this is so boring. Noticing all of that, that's the beauty of this. You notice all of that and you kind of just come back to whatever it is that we're practicing. All right, I hope you enjoy mindful movement and you make it part of your regular routine. Thank you so much for watching. So we're gonna start out by doing some standing poses. For that, you will need your mat if you have one. Now, we're not doing anything too strenuous or too hard, so if you don't have a mat, just make sure you're stable. Now, a lot of these poses, at least at the beginning, you'll be able to do on a chair as well. So if you can't really stand, if you can't really do the poses as I'm doing them, you can always use a chair. We're also going to be doing some balancing poses. You can also use a chair for support for that. So if your balance is not that good, if you can't stand for a very long time, I recommend that you go and get a chair right now, just so that you can hold on to it, okay? Now, other than that, the poses are going to be very, very simple. These are very gentle movements. Some of the movements are borrowed from yoga, but it's not all yoga. It's mainly very light stretching. And the key is that you take care of yourself. So whenever you feel like something is too much, make sure that you're able to just back off and tune into yourself and see if you can go back whenever you catch your breath. Okay, thank you. We'll get started now. Let's start out by just having your feet about hips apart. This is the most important pose actually. Having your chest straight, shoulders back, arms just dangle into the sides. There's no need to have them in any other position or tense them. Just allow them to dangle. See if you can drop the shoulders a little bit. That's helpful. You might notice that when we do this pose, I close my eyes. I like to tune into the body, and you'll be learning to do that with me as well. Remember, this is a meditation in itself. It's what we call a formal meditation. So we have sitting, standing, lying down, or moving. This is a moving one. So let's go ahead and if you like to close your eyes, you may. And if not, you can just leave them open. But find a point where you can lower the gaze and maybe just stare down at the floor or the wall in front of you. So just allowing for the body to just stand here with the feet hips apart, shoulders dropped, arms dangle into the sides. Allowing the earth to fully support you here. Noticing what it feels like for the body to be in this position, and also noticing what it's like to stand here at this moment. Is there any physical sensations that you might be feeling? Maybe the earth under your feet, if you're in contact with a mat or the floor. Just noticing that. We're noticing the fingertips, the hands and the fingers. Seeing if there's any sensations of maybe heaviness or tingling or coolness or heat. We're going to be tuning into sensation quite a bit, so stay alert for that. Alright, so now what we're going to do is bring both arms up to the sides, and I'm going to move over a little bit right here so that I can respect the space right here. So bringing both arms up, and movements are done really slow at first, and this is just so that you can really tune into the sensations in the body. So just stretching back a little bit. And now you can bring your left arm or your right arm down, whatever feels comfortable for you, but bringing the arm down and stretching up, looking up if you can. And really tuning in to the sensation in the body. So where do you feel this in the body? How does it feel? And instead of answering those questions, seeing if you can tune in to how the body feels in this moment. So just stretching up. Good. Bringing it all down gently. Noticing how the arm just comes down, and noticing how all this just happens on command. There's not much thought behind us moving our arms or legs. It just happens. So bringing the other arm up. And just stretching again a little bit to the side. Perfect. You got it. See where you feel this in the body. Good, and bringing it down now. Noticing how we're going to switch arms now, but noticing how when you lift the arm, you can almost feel how you get pulled down by gravity a little bit. And as I'm doing this, I can really tune into that sensation of the arm having to fight gravity a little bit. And then it gets here and it gets a little more comfortable, but notice what the stretch really feels like. Notice where you feel it in the body. And now bringing the arm down and seeing how, perhaps you might notice how it's so much easier to bring it down as gravity kind of pulls you down. And so just resisting that and really just slowing down the movement. Now switching arms. We'll do the other arm now. And again, up. Good. And now we're going to bring the arm down and we're going to go back to that standing pose as before. And just standing here, noticing what the body feels like after that little stretch. Noticing the breath. Taking just a second or two here. Alright, so now we're going to move on to our next exercise. And for this next one, all we're going to do is rotate the shoulders. We're going to start forward, up and back, really tuning into the movement. So really slowing down. We slow down movement just so that we can tune into the sensations in the body. See, if we're moving really fast, not only in these exercises but through life, we tend to miss so much. And so in this case, we're tuning into the body. So we're just really slowing down just to notice everything about the movement. So now changing the rotation, back first, up and forward, back, up and forward. Good. Now all we're going to do is bring your neck back and down. So back, stretching back, and stretching, looking down. That's right. Up and down. Once again, really tuning into the stretch, noticing how it feels on the body. And now we're going to bring the ear towards the shoulder, so you can pick your left or your right. I'm going to do my left, so left ear towards my left shoulder to start. And now we're going to do right ear towards right shoulder, stretching the neck, noticing how that feels. Also noticing if at any moment you run into judgment of perhaps flexibility in the past or anything else that might be coming up. So whenever you notice the mind getting distracted or drifting, just coming back to the sensation in the body. Remember, the body is always present, so you can always count on it to be in the moment. Right. Now instead of doing the shoulders and instead of switching the neck back and forth, this time we're going to do the shoulders. So right shoulder towards right ear and left shoulder towards right ear. And giving it a quick stretch, really just visiting these parts of the body. So there we go. And now standing still once again, standing straight, shoulders back, allowing the earth to fully support you underneath the feet. Closing the eyes if that's comfortable, and just noticing now how the body feels. Seeing if you can drop the shoulders. Noticing. How is the body right now? What are any physical sensations that might be present? Okay, so now we're gonna move on to the next exercise, which is a balancing pose. So all we're gonna do is just kind of shifting the weight from side to side to start. One side and the next side. Really noticing what it takes to shift the weight and how the weight kind of gets lifted from one leg to the other. Yeah? Great. Now, the next part of this is to maybe spread the legs just a little tiny bit more, well, the feet actually just a little bit tiny more. And this time we're gonna lift up. So we're gonna switch all the weight towards the leg that we wanna keep the weight on. And you're still gonna keep the kind of the toes of the other leg still right on the ground, making contact with the mat. So lifting, and now moving to the other side and doing the same. So all the way it's shifted now, but we're still kind of rooted to the ground on the other side a little bit. And once again, shifting. Noticing really if there's a need to do more, or maybe noticing if it's hard to keep up. Perhaps there's a need to go faster. In our fast-paced life, we tend to always be rushing, so even our workouts are super fast, everything is fast, and so seeing if you can just slow down and stay with me. Okay, so now, on your next shift, we're going to take the opposite. So we're going to have our weight on one leg, and the other leg, the foot, is going to come off now, and we're going to do a balancing pose. And you may do this, so you can put your your hands on your waist, or you can stand your arms up if you have room. Whatever you can do is fine. And for some of you, your leg might be up really high. If you want to go deeper, for some of you, it might be really low. So you'll find what feels right for you, okay? It's also about finding that sweet spot where maybe you can go out a little farther and lift a little more, and that will be a little challenging, but you're still okay. So noticing when you're doing a little too much. This is what we call right balance or right effort in mindfulness. It's about knowing when we reached our limit, knowing when we can go a little farther, and knowing when it's time to really just give ourselves a rest and stop so we don't injure ourselves. And so just keeping the balance here. Maybe you can wiggle the foot, wiggle the toes, rotate the foot, move the other way. And seeing what you can do. And now with all this, it's all about becoming creative as well. And then whenever you're ready, just putting it all down. And yes, we're going to switch sides now. And do the other side now. Again, once again, remember shifting the weight, taking the foot off, and holding the pose. And once you have your balance here, seeing if you can maybe rotate the foot, wiggle the toes. Some of you might have the leg a little higher, a little lower. Noticing if there is any judgment on these movements. If you notice any judgment about what you can or cannot do, just acknowledge that. And then come right back. Come right back to just feeling through the foot. The foot that's holding the weight, the leg. Noticing where this stretch is happening. Feeling the foot that's rotating, the toes. So just noticing. You can always stop and you can always bring it all down whenever you're ready. So now coming down, it's not about who stays up longer. It's about knowing what feels right for you. Sometimes we have the tendency to strive, to want to do more than what we can, and we end up injuring ourselves. It's very important to know when you've reached that limit. Okay, so for our next pose, you might have seen this one, but we're just going to bring the bottom of the foot against the leg. Some of you might have it low, some of you might have it up. So let's prevent ourselves from doing this. Yeah, because this movement is about allowing ourselves to be okay with where we are. And so that will be actually just helping the body do this. Or maybe the body just wants to be here, and that's fine. Some of you might be here, some of you might be here, some of you might be here. So whatever works for you, okay? Allowing yourself to have that room. And just holding it there. If you can, you might bring your arms over your head. Feeling the stretch. And bringing it all down. Okay. And now we're going to switch legs. And I find that it's a little slippery for me to do. So that's why I wear these pins. They can just keep my balance better if my foot's in contact with my skin. And so we're going to bring our arms up if that's okay. Once you find your balance, of course, take your time. You don't have to keep up with me. Or maybe you can even go deeper than me. You'll find your right spot. You'll know what feels right for you. This, by the way, is a great exercise. We have a lot of thinking, or we're worried. You can always just stand, bring your leg up, and focus on your balance. Kind of dissipates a lot of the thinking. But for now, let's just tune into the body. Any sensations that might be present here, noticing the need to strive, really, really focusing on right effort and right balance, which is knowing when it's enough, knowing your limits, knowing you can go a little more, a little farther. So really tuning in, the body will tell you, focusing on those sensations, seeing where you might feel a stretch. All right, so now we're gonna bring it down again. And now allowing ourselves to just stand here for a little bit, eyes closed if that's okay with you. Noticing how the body feels after this. It's just a little short recovery time that we do to check in with the body, to make sure that we're really honoring the body and its limits. We're also allowing it to go a little deeper if we can. So this is what we know. So just tuning into the breath, knowing how you're breathing. And for our last exercise, I'd like you to just pretend that you have a chair behind you. And all we're going to do is sit as if you were sitting on the chair, bringing the arms up and just hold it right there. So let me demo again. All we're doing is bringing the arms up and sitting on that imaginary chair behind you. The feet are spread about hips apart. The knees are also kept apart. So just noticing what that feels like for you. Where do you feel the stretch? Feel it in your back, maybe the arms or the legs. Just noticing. Allowing the breath to flow normally. Again, you can always do this a lot longer. Just showing you some of the exercises that you can do while you practice mindful movement. Really, it's about tuning into the body. Whenever you're ready, allowing it all to rest, standing straight, closing the eyes, noticing the breath. That's it for the standing poses. Thank you. We're going to start out with some sitting poses first. So if you're already sitting like this, all you have to do is bring your feet together. And for this, you might want to adjust your bottom so that you have somewhat of a straight back. Now, with all these poses and with mindful movement, with mindful movement, it's not so much how far we can go in the poses, it's more about really tuning into the sensation in the body and the sensation as we do the poses. So really keeping us engaged and as attentive as you can to the body. We're making the connection between mind and body at this moment. So bringing all your attention to everything you feel, what you move. Okay, that being said, bringing the bottom of your feet together, seeing if the back can be straight, seeing if the knees can point to the sides, and some of you might be a little lower, some of you might be here. It doesn't matter where you are. You do what you can. What's important is that you really feel through the movements and really connect to the body. So bringing the feet together, you can hold them if you like. And all we're going to do is lean forward just a little bit, just as much as you can. And you may want to adjust yourself just so that you have a little more room. For some of you, your feet might be a little farther. That's fine. Find what feels right for you. Being creative is all what's about. So leaning over, seeing where you might feel the stretch. Noticing whether there is a need to do more. Sometimes we strive during these movements and end up hurting ourselves, and so more than really showing what you can do or trying to go any farther than what the body can, it's more about tuning in to how it really feels to do these movements. Tuning into the breath, noticing your breathing. And now bringing both knees together. And we're going to rotate to the side along the mat. Extending your legs. Some of you might have your legs fully extended on the ground. Some of you might just be here, and that's fine. So finding whatever it is that works for you. And again, really making sure that you're on top of your bottom so that your back is straight. Legs as straight as possible, but knowing your limit once again. Bringing both arms up and seeing if you can reach out. So reaching out towards the feet. Some of you might be right here, and that's fine. But if you're just right here, seeing if you can grab the toes. Noticing what's your limit. Noticing all the sensations that might be happening right now at this moment. Where do you feel the stretch? And instead of answering, seeing if you can just feel it with me. Good. Now coming up gently. Noticing the transition. And all we're going to do is bring the knee towards the chest, folding the leg, and turning. And you don't have to go very far here either, just noticing. And releasing the leg. Noticing that transition. And we're slowing down movement quite a bit here. Remember, this is not a workout. This is just an opportunity for us to make that mind and body connection. So, turning the other way. And the only way to make that connection is to really just tune into the sensations in the body. Now bringing the leg down once again, bringing both arms up, just like we did before, and hands go towards the feet. stretching the back of the legs and noticing where you feel the stretch. Keeping the back straight, protecting the lower back. Coming up again. What we're going to do this time is bring both legs up. So bringing the knees towards the chest and just hugging both legs right here. Seeing how that feels in the body. And now from here we're going to transition to tabletop. So all we're going to do really to safely transition is bring your legs to the side in this pose. Rotate over. And bring your knees down. That's it. Really feeling the earth under your hands, feeling the earth under the knees. And seeing now if you can bring the belly button all the way to the sky or to the ceiling. And for that, the only way to do that is arching the back. So arching the back, belly button in, reaching the sky. And now we're going to bring the belly button towards the earth. Neck goes up. And once again, arch in the back. Belly button towards the earth once again. Head goes up. And now all we're going to do is, this is a balancing pose again, so be ready for this. Right arm out, left leg back, extend it behind you. I'm just making a straight line, noticing here if the mind is distracted. Coming right back, feeling through the pose. Feeling through the stretch. And then bringing it all down. Opposite arm, opposite leg. So if you're extending your left arm, your right leg should be standing behind you. Activating the foot. Just really tuning into the sensations in the body at this moment, the stretch. Great. Tabletop again. Now repeating this at your own pace. Whenever you notice the mind getting distracted, just coming right back to the sensations in the body. It's normal. The mind is always producing thoughts. If you find this a little bit too challenging, you can always become creative. And becoming creative is the key sometimes to stress. If you continue to trying to do the things the same way we often do, we're going to continue to get the same results. So perhaps just becoming creative with all these exercises as well and seeing what works for you. Finding where your limit is. Really practicing right effort, right balance. Knowing where you're pushing too much. Knowing when you can go just a little bit farther. Feeling the stretch in the body. Tuning into all sensations. That's really what we're doing here. Feeling through the body. The poses are secondary. We're making that connection as we move around. So now back to tabletop. See if you can spread the knees even a little further and bring your toes together. And then walk your hands in front of you. A little bit more. And what you're going to do is bring your butt down. Yep. And just allow it to rest right on your feet. Stretching the arms. Feeling this stretch. And now coming up once again to tabletop. So legs about hips apart, knees about hips apart. And we're going to continue doing the same movement again. We're going to start again by bringing the belly button all the way up to the sky, arching the back. And then bringing it down all the way towards the earth. And then once again. And you may notice with some of these exercises how there's some sensations that just are nicer than others, I would say. We call them pleasant. And some are just not so pleasant, right? And how some movements might feel better than others, and we might just want to stay there. And so noticing those transitions, noticing where the mind goes when we switch into something that is not as nice, or might not feel as comfortable. So noticing all that. Tuning into whatever is present in the moment. once again, we're going to extend the left arm and the right leg behind you. Seeing if you can really tune in into the physical sensation as you do this stretch. What does it feel like in the body when you move this way? And down again. And switching sides. And down again. And once again, we're going to bring the toes together. Spread the knees a little bit. And just sit down on the toes, on the feet. And extending the arms. Allowing the shoulders to stretch as well. And now once again, we're going to transition into sitting from here. See if you can extend your legs in front of you. And if you can, that's fine. You can just keep them like this. You don't have to extend them all the way. So you really find what is right for you during this movement. What's more important is that you tune in to the body, really making that connection. And the sensation is the only way to connect to the body. So really just coming up here and seeing if you can stretch the legs. So allowing this hip to kind of release and stretch out, extending the leg and switching. And I like to do this with my arms because I feel like I'm really stretching both. So I'm stretching the arm and also the shoulder here. So seeing if you can do that. And really just bringing your toes to point to the ceiling. So this way you're activating the bottom of the leg as well. So now once again, really just stretching that leg. And seeing how I'm not really bending the leg. I'm really just stretching this leg out. So releasing that area on the hip. And the other side. And again. Good. Now whenever you're ready, just adjusting really your bottom so that you can have a straight back. As straight as possible at least. It doesn't have to be super straight. And then seeing if you can bring the right leg and cross over the left. Like this. And now all we're going to do is a twist to the right. Twisting this arm so the right arm is supporting you behind as well. Keeping your foot with the toes pointing up so you can engage the bottom of the leg as well. Seeing if you can feel the sensation there too. You can feel a little bit of the stretch maybe. And maybe not. Maybe you're doing the exercises and you just can't feel anything. That's fine. It takes a little time. Eventually you'll start feeling a little bit more and more. And now releasing that leg. Crossing over the opposite leg. And twisting again to the other side. Engaging the toes of the extended leg, the extended foot. And now extending both legs in front of you. And we're going to proceed to lying down all the way in the back. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to stretch forward first. So stretching all the way out. And now we're just rolling back all the way until you're standing, you're lying down on the mat. Allowing the toes to just point outward, allowing the palms to face up to the ceiling. Noticing what the body feels like here. And that's it for our sitting poses. Thank you very much for watching. We're going to move on the next video to our lying down if you'd like to practice that with me as well. Thank you. And we're going to proceed from sitting, as I am, into lying down on your back. Now remember, with all these movements, it's not really about how far you can go or how great you look on these poses. It's more about tuning into the sensation in the body. That's really what we're practicing. We're practicing the mind and body connection. So really tuning into what the movements feel like in the body, okay? And even though we're going to be lying down, I'm going to walk you through some ways to really tune into those sensations. And if at any moment you notice that you don't feel anything at all, and you might be, I don't feel anything, I don't feel this stretch, that's fine. That's fine. Just notice that. So we are present with whatever it is that's happening at the moment. So if you're not feeling the stretch, if you don't feel anything, then that's fine. Just notice, oh, I don't feel anything. And then also notice when the mind kind of drifts, because it will do that, it's normal. And just seeing if you can come back to the stretch. So bringing the attention back to the body. That's how we're present. The body is always here. Okay, so let's proceed by sitting in your mat just like this. And now all we're going to do is roll all the way down gently. So we're really slowing down all movements and feeling every little bit of every movement we make. Okay? So really just proceeding to lying down all the way in your back. And when you're fully lying down, seeing if you can just allow the toes to kind of point outward, the palms of the hands to just point to the ceiling or the sky. And if you might want to close your eyes if you like. Tune into the breath, the body breathing. Noticing how the belly rises on the in-breath and falls on the out-breath. And now all we're going to do is bring the right leg and bend it, bringing the knee towards the chest. So just bringing this right knee towards your chest and giving it a quick squeeze right here, feeling that stretch. And really just rotating the foot, wiggling the toes to the sides. Maybe you want to rotate to the right and then rotate to the left. So switching it up a little bit. And whenever you're ready, just extending the hip a little bit more so we can stretch the hip a little bit to the side and then bringing it in again. And so we're going to doing this kind of very gentle rotations to the side, really feeling the body stretch here and the sensations in the body. And then whenever you're ready, just releasing that leg, allowing it to just settle to on the mat or on the floor. And then we're gonna switch sides. So bringing now your left knee and hugging it on your chest. And once again, we're gonna do the same thing. We're just gonna open up that hip. Seeing if you can kind of engage the foot. Focusing on the sensation that might be happening here as you stretch the leg and the hip sideways. And now just releasing that leg once again. And noticing what that feels like in the body after you release, after stretching the hips. And now we're going to bring both knees up again together. We're going to hug them right here on the chest and seeing if you can just rock the body from side to side. Noticing how that feels. Maybe you can pull one knee closer and then release the other knee a little bit as you do this. And so you are becoming quite creative as I do this, and I'm sure coming up with your own ways of doing these exercises. The key is to really just focus on the sensation as you move around. We're constantly moving in the world, so we want to make sure that we're always in tune with our bodies and we're always present. As John Kabat-Zinn says, the body is the only thing that's always in the present moment. So whenever you tune into the sensations in the body, you are in the present moment. You are present to whatever it is that's happening. Noticing if you have the need to move faster maybe, and understanding that this is not a workout. This is a meditation in itself. We're tuning into the body and really just get familiar with it. And so now, once again, giving my last hug. Bringing the left leg down. Keeping your right leg and seeing if you can just stand the leg up. Rotate the ankles. Wiggle the toes. And then whenever you're ready, seeing if you can just bring your chest towards the knee. And for that, we're going to have to do a little bit of an up movement, just like that. Seeing if the shoulders can come off, the neck can come off. And you might want to hold your leg here, or maybe not. Maybe you just want to release it. So you find whatever works for you. And now giving it a quick hug again, everything comes down. Switching sides. Bringing your left leg up, giving it a quick squeeze. And now once again, just bringing the leg up, rotating the foot. And bringing the shoulders up, as if you were going to kiss your knee almost. Noticing where you feel the stretch, really tuning into whatever it feels. Seeing if you can activate the other foot too. And just rotating the foot. I kind of find that whenever I do this, my foot just kind of rotates on its own. I don't know why. And they both do this movement. But really seeing if you can feel the stretch. All right, and now releasing the leg. Well, maybe we'll give it a quick squeeze right here, releasing the leg. And once again, coming back to just lying down and noticing how the body feels now after this movement. Allowing the body to just breathe. There's no need to change anything or control anything. It's allowing whatever it is that's present to just be. And now whenever you're ready, all we're going to do is bring both legs up, extend them up just like that, and rotating both feet to the side. Just rotating the feet. And again, when you're doing this, you might become quite creative as well. Maybe you can't do the exercises the same way, and so maybe you would just want to do whatever you can. And if you're in a chair, you can always do all these exercises, or most of them on a chair, but become quite creative. And that's it. Now bringing it all down again. Legs to the floor. And so now from here, we're going to come up and sit. Once again, gently. And all you're going to do is make sure that you have enough stability on your bottom to really bring the legs up. And seeing if you can keep the arms on the side too. So if you need support, you can do that. And if not, then you might want to do this. So just to be a little more challenged if that permits. So it's all about tuning into that sweet spot. When am I doing too much? When is the body saying that's enough? And when am I actually not doing enough? So really seeing if you can go that little extra bit and just coming in here and maybe just pedaling the feet. And some of you might have the legs fully straight and that's fine. So do whatever feels right for you. And I'm bringing it all down again, extending the legs, and once again just rolling all the way to the back. Noticing how the body feels now. Noticing the breath. And now bringing your knees towards the ceiling or the sky now. So what we're going to do is bend the knees. Arranging the shoulders down. And now allowing the lower part of the body, so the lower legs to just come off. And the buttocks to come off. And this is once again bringing the belly button all the way to the sky. Seeing if you can just hold this just for a little bit, really tuning into the sensation in the body. Allowing the arms to just be gently positioned here, really without really tensing. There's a tendency sometimes to tense, so notice if there's any tension in the body as you do any of these movements. And sometimes that happens. I certainly sometimes find myself doing that. Perhaps you can feel the bottom of your feet as you do this. And there's also a tendency sometimes to close the knees when we do this for some reason. So seeing if you're in that sweet spot in which you can go a little farther and still be comfortable, seeing if you can keep your knees kind of hips apart while you do this. And then once again, it's all about knowing when am I pushing too hard and when am I actually at that fine line when I can go a little farther without hurting myself. It's all about right balance, right effort. Maybe also letting go of the expectation of what the body should be doing, right? Tuning into what the body feels like at this moment. Any physical sensations that are present. Seeing if you can go a little higher, lift up. And whenever you're ready, just very gently feeling every vertebrae just kind of making contact with the earth beneath you as you just bring it all down. And just noticing what it feels like after that. This short little recovering process is very important, tuning into the body right now again in this restful pose. If you want, you can close your eyes. I like closing my eyes when I do this. It allows me to tune in better, but you can either close your eyes or keep them open, up to you. And whenever you're ready, just bringing the arms up, all the way back. And seeing if you can stretch the entire body so legs point to the wall right in front of the feet, right in front of the feet, and the finger toes point to the wall right behind you. So just stretching it all out and stretching side to side if that's possible, really feeling the stretch and noticing what it feels like. Right, bringing the arms down. And again, all these exercises you can repeat as much as you like. I'm showing you the basics, but you can just take one of them and practice that every day if you like, or maybe two. Another exercise, and our last one for this set, is going to be to actually bring your legs, once again, knees pointing towards the sky. And as you do this, you might notice how the lower back kind of lifts a little bit. So seeing if you can just bring it down, rotating a little bit, like I think it's a little bit of rotation on the pelvis this way, but it's just very gently. So then, once again, the lower back kind of comes off, and now we're just kind of rocking the body back and forth a little bit, making that contact with the bottom at that lower back point. And so just really feeling that sensation. And if at any moment you notice that maybe the lower back might be an area for you where you hold tension or stress or even discomfort, perhaps you might want to be gentle with some of these movements as you do them as well. And so really just filling in that gap. And you'll notice that as you bring your legs, as your feet towards the upper part of the legs, I guess, and the knees are pointing up, you'll notice that little gap that happens. And so all we're doing is just rotating the pelvis because that brings it down. And so just feeling really the contact of that area with the mat back and forth. And noticing that lower back and that area really in contact with the mat. And now stretching the legs out again. And now what we're going to do is bring the right knee. Right, I know I said that was the last one. We're going to do one more, bringing the right knee over. And then you can just elbow side this way, and then just rotating the body. Another gentle stretch. Really just going as far as you can. There's no way to go any farther if you're at your limit. But if you're not, it's always nice to go to a little extra bit more. But if we're tuning into the body, just going that little bit more makes it so much easier. The body can lead us into what is right and what is wrong for it. It'll let you know. Just learn to tune in. Now rotating legs once again. Twist. And now releasing the leg. And going back to just restful pose. Palms of the hands are pointing to the ceiling. The feet are just dangling to the sides. Toes pointing to the sides. And if it's comfortable for you, you may close your eyes here. Just allow for this moment to notice the breath. Feeling the body in contact with the mat and the earth really supporting it. Noticing how the belly kind of rises on the in-breath and falls on the out-breath. And you can stay here for as long as you like. That's all for me today. Thank you.